Greetings all, this is Fallen Heart, and this is my World of Warcraft story. So, I've come back to World of Warcraft, as I've said so many times lately, and I'm having a blast, I really am. And I kind of want to do a video of how I started playing this, and like way back when, not just come back to it, but how I started, right? I'm just going to turn into a human. I'm going to quit my fishing rod. I'm going to do some fishing whilst I'm chatting. So, let's just replace that. With that, it'll just make things easier. Alright then, sit down, do some fishing. So yeah, before we begin, there's going to be a lot of opinions here, and a few of them will piss off some World of Warcraft players, especially the older ones. At least I think it will. Anyway. But yeah, so I started playing friggin' ages ago. I heard about someone else I knew playing it, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna pick it up. So we went to the game store. I was still a kid at the time, so I went to the game store. I think I was still a kid anyway. I can't remember. We went to the game store and we picked up World of Warcraft and the Burning Crusade, the expansion. The guy who's selling this to us was like, me and my mother were there. And the guy who's selling this to us, he's like, you know this is a paid game, right? And we're like, yeah. And, like a subscription. And he handed it to us. It must have been a really new thing back then. I mean, I don't know. I never played EverQuest Next like when it came out or anything like... Oh, well, never played EverQuest or anything like that when it came out. I'll piss off, Nat. Leave me alone, I'm trying to fish. Yeah, I brought a cooler. Look, I've got my drink right next to me. Leave me alone. Alright. Fucking nah. Piss off. So we bought the game. We came back. It must have been a new concept, because like the guy's like, why the fuck are people buying this? Like, why are people paying? Like, they're buying the game and they're paying. This is ridiculous. Like, we've just been we're just accustomed to it now, so it doesn't seem like a big deal back now. But I guess it was back then. But yeah, we brought it home. I installed it. Took fucking days. It took at least, like, my computer wasn't amazing. You know, I wasn't like, if I was a PC gamer back then, I wasn't as I think I was actually. Isn't ready yet. But I wasn't as like full PC guy as I am now. So yeah, it took days to install. And then when it was finally ready to play, played it. And I went through all the characters and I decided to make myself a troll hunter. Our very first character, I think his name was Swift Tusk or something like that. I come up with better names now, I like to think. Like, for example, one of my characters is called Razael, and that's my troll druid on this, and this is obviously Fallen Heart, my main. And I made another run recently, which is another worgen, but she's a hunter, she's a warrior, and I called her Ginger Snaps. Like, which is a reference to Ginger Snaps, the movie. But instead of Ginger Snaps, I called her Ginger Schnapps, like the drink, Schnapps. Which I think is hilarious. So, anyway, but yeah, I'm better at making names now. It wasn't back then. It was just a case of putting two words together, which I suppose Ginger Schnapps is as well, but it's more of a reference, so I can get away with it.
That's still recharging.
And incidentally, Fallen Heart is separate. Like, Fallen Heart, there's a space, but they don't allow that in the character creator. Hence why I've got my roleplay up here. And I didn't mean to do that. But, yeah, I made a character. Troll Hunter. And I fell in love with the game. I never played an MMO before. And my experiences with RPGs, which still at that time was my favorite genre. But my experience with RPGs were much more limited than it is now. So to me, this thing was just this huge thing, like this brand new experience that I've never had before, and I fell completely in love with it, like completely in love with it. You know, and remember taming my very first pet. Well, my very first pet that wasn't a tutorial. Because back in the day, hunters didn't get a pet right at the start like they do now. I don't know when they added that. I'm assuming either Catalysm or Mr. Pandaria. I'm not sure, but yeah, back when I played it, you didn't actually start off with a hunter. I mean, with a pet. You had to do a quest to obtain that pet. And since I was Horde, I was a troll. I believe, if I remember correctly, my first pet was in, I think it was either the Barrens or it was, wait a minute. My first Azeroth, Kalamar, it was in, Toronto. My very first quest. It was in Toronto, and I think, was it here? Razor Hill? Maybe here or here? I can't remember. But it was in, like, one of the first, orc places. I've got an itchy nose, I'm not picking. So, and it was to tame a boar. Like, okay, go out. I think it was a boar anyway. Might have been a scorpid or a turtle. Might have been a scorpid, actually. I think it was a boar. So I'm just gonna say boar. And this quest, like, sent you out. Oh my god, my nose is so itchy. This quest sent you out, and it was basically a tutorial. Like, this is how you tame pets. And taming was much harder than it is nowadays, by the way. It took fucking ages to tame a pet, and yeah, if you weren't prepared for it, the pet would probably kill you. So, as soon as you got the ability to freeze animals, it got so much easier. But yeah, so there was that, and I brought it home, and I think they let you keep it. Yeah, I'm sure that was like your default pet for a while. So I kept it, and then I was running around like, okay, I can't wait to tame my first pet. And the very first pet I tamed was in the Barrens. It was one of the Barrens areas, because I know there's more than one. But I was going towards a dungeon, and inside this, like, the dungeon was inside a cave area. And it was, like, right at the back of this cave area. And when I went in the cave, I saw this, like, black raptor sneaking around like a rogue. Like, this sneaky-ass black raptor sneaking around like a rogue. And it looked completely different to any other raptor in the area. I'd not seen a black raptor before. This was completely new. And it was just sneaking around in this cave on its own, like a friggin' rogue. I'm like, I want that. So, I abandoned my boar. I had no attachment to it. I abandoned it, and I started to tame. It killed me the first time, because this is whilst leveling in Burning Crusade WoW, you know? And I was a little under-leveled. But, I kept trying, and eventually I got it. Named the thing Shadowfang. So, there was Swift Tusk and Shadowfang. And, I kept that thing by my side all the way up to level 50. That thing stayed by my side throughout the entire game. In fact, playing this again, one of the first things the first thing I did as soon as I could get flying was to go and get that raptor. Unfortunately, that area is a horde area, so I actually found one in, I believe, Stranglethorn Vale, or something like that. There was one around, maybe, I'm not sure, but there's a black raptor in a different area that's more alliance-focused, and I caught one there. And I named it Shadowfang, and I'm keeping it just because of, you know, a remembrance of old times. But yeah, I had this thing through me without my entire, like, troll thing. I caught others. Like, at one point, I ran around with, at one point I caught a wolf from the Plaguelands and called it Rothowl. I caught a blue moth from, the Draenei starting area. Don't ask how I managed to get to the Draenei starting area as the Horde, but I did. And I got a blue moth. Named it, Moondust. But Shadowfang was with me at all times. All times. Throughout the entire game, Shadowfang was my pet. Even when Loke came out, Shadowfang, I was like, I don't need Loke. I've got Shadowfang. And it was perfect, like a troll and a raptor. And it just worked out so well. And we looked the pod, and I was so attached to this raptor. And I loved the game. I loved the game. I loved the exploration. Just finding all these just exploring the world, even if there was no point to it beyond building up a freaking armor repair cost and getting some experience. But there was really no point to it. But I did. I went around exploring, and I loved it. And doing the quests and getting rewards and leveling up and doing battlegrounds for the first time, making sure to always go in at like level 29 or something like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, and then I started to do dungeons and raids, and I was invited to a guild, and that guild was filled with just these pleasant people. Ready yet. You know, I had heard some horror stories about around this point, about guilds with just these horrible, just slave driving. You know, if you make one mistake, then you are just scarred for, like, they will just destroy you. But no, this was a really pleasant group of people, and they were great. And I was with this. I can't remember the name of the guild. I can remember my freaking raptor's name, but I cannot remember the name of the guild. It doesn't really matter anyway, it's not around anymore. But it might be, actually. You never know. But, yeah, not the same guild, though. But I was into the, into the guild. We were doing all these different, dungeons and raids, and fuck, they were hard. We wiped so many goddamn times. But I didn't mind. Like, none of us really minded. Eventually, we all got a bit fed up if we'd wipe, like, constantly. We'd never get anywhere. Then we're like, okay, we'll regroup. We'll come back to this another day when, we'll figure something out. But, we were by no means the best guild out there. Not by any means. But it was pleasant. And then Wrath came out, Wrath of the Lich King. And holy fucking shit, that trailer. And that music. Oh god. And just, I remember stepping into Norvryn for the very first time. And holy shit, that music. And the area, it was so different. I never really liked Outland that much. Honestly, Outland, it was different, but it never really hit me and stuck with me. And I think that's mainly due to the fact that, like, that was my vanilla. I never played vanilla WoW. I played Burning Crusade WoW. And I never played Warcraft. I didn't even realize the Warcraft games were a thing that existed. So I didn't really recognize the importance of Illidan and the importance of what the fuck was going on. That this is a huge character in the lore of the game. I didn't know any of this. I just remember the trailer, the initial trailer was like, "You are not prepared." I remember it being a really cool trailer, and that bit always making me chuckle. And then fighting Illidan, and then the end was funny because there would be like a debate over who would get the friggin' like sword. I don't know what they're called, but is it like something glaives? I don't know, but the green like multi-bladed sword thing. It was always a battle between the warriors and the rogues of who freaking got it. But like rogues, like, it would look cooler on me. Like, yeah, but you're a rogue. Use daggers. Like, now I can use swords. And then occasionally the hunters would chip in. Well, so can we. Hunter weapon just to piss people off. It was funny. But yeah, but I don't really have that many great memories of. Well, I say great. My great memories of the Burning Crusade are my great memories of vanilla. That was my initial experience was Burning Crusade World of Warcraft. Not the expansion area, obviously, but the getting up to that point. That was just part of the main game. That wasn't expansion to me, because that's when it started. But Wrath was my first expansion. And I was going around with my little freaking skeletal dragon pet that I got from the special edition. a bunch of people flying around. Like, well, a bunch of people walking around with this pet next to them was great. And just the music in that area and just everything about it was so new and different and just fun and cool and fun to explore, and you know, it was just so freaking cool. And of course, being in a guild, the things I remember more than anything else are the dungeons and raids. Of course, I don't know the name of them. The only really dungeon I remember the name of is Icecrown Citadel, and it's because I love it so much. It's been my favorite raid for a long time. But there was one where you'd go like in this fortress, and you'd start off on a ramp, and on the floor there'd be you'd be like like the start of a war, like a zone for that.
That's still recharging.
How many fish have I put? I don't know if I put a lot. But you get to choose, like, these vehicles. And you'd pick the vehicle you go. Like, most of us would try and get a different vehicle. There weren't, like, 3 or 4 of them, I can't remember. But we go different vehicles, and then we charge forward, and this endless spawn of enemies just constantly coming at us over and over again, and we kill them with the vehicles, and then we get to the end, and this huge lock gate just explodes open, and this giant fecking vehicle comes through, and we're like, holy shit! Because none of us read guides online, none of us cared about that. We wanted to do it ourselves, we wanted to figure it out ourselves. So we never knew any of this. There was no spoilers or anything like that. We went in and we were like, holy freaking shit. Oh, it was amazing. And then we get past that. And then this entire area open. Like, we're inside this old temple-like building. And we're going through... Again, this has a lot of lore significance that I knew nothing about. I just remember loving the Lich King. It was such a supervillain-like character. It was like watching a Marvel or a friggin' DC comic, like a movie before they all got really fucking serious about themselves. He'd just show up and go, you will never stop me, and then you'd beat his minion, and he'd go, you are just delaying the inevitable, and just vanish. Oh, I friggin' love it. It was great. But yeah, we're in this dungeon, and then we're going through, and we're killing fucking titans. These just huge, like, things made of rock and steel, and they're like, thank you for releasing me from this fucking spiral. Thank you for releasing me. This mind control or something or other. And then eventually you could have them on your side, and then you go down, and you realize, oh fuck, it's this horrible creature that's fight for. My first thought when I started was, holy shit, that's some Cthulhu bullshit right there. Apparently they're called the Old Ones, or the Old Gods, or something like that. Again, it's a Lovecraft thing, but I didn't really know much about Lovecraft back then. But, like, once you find out about Lovecraft, it is fucking amazing how many things are inspired by it. Like, holy crap. Like, so much is inspired by Lovecraft. You know, but yeah, we're doing that, and that fight, holy fuck, that fight annoyed me at times, but it was good. It was, and then, like, you'd be sucked, you'd be picked up by his tentacles, and throughout the entire thing, you're taking fucking damage. It was a fucking nightmare for the healers. And then you go for the portal, and you go in its mouth, and there's like, oh shit, story! And like a bunch of us are just standing there, like watching this story take place, not realizing that we're actually supposed to run around and kill the enemies and get out there as fast as possible. But we're like, ooh, story, let's stand here and watch it, and we all fucking die. We're like, oh shit, we didn't pay attention. And they're coming back, and like, okay, let's kill things. Okay, we're gonna do it as fast as possible. Just the first time we all got into that portal, and we just stood there watching the Lich King talk, and we all just die at the same time. The entire friggin' raid just wiping. We're like, ooh, story time! Oh, I love it. I love it so much. I'm not focusing on what I'm doing here. You know, and then of course Icecrown Citadel, where, oh god, Icecrown Citadel, that friggin' starting speech, it's like, you know, I can't remember, but it's like, I remember being pumped. And going through that and taking down the Lich King for the first time and eventually doing it, like, such a good feeling. Oh, it's so good. And eventually, we do the raids all the time, we do dungeons all the time, it was a blast. You know, I was still exploring the areas, trying to find secrets, and just trying to find hidden shit, you know, because I knew Blizzard liked to hide things in their games, so that's what I was trying to do. I was, like, when I wasn't raiding, I was either working on craft skills, which being a hunter was level working and skinning, you know, selling things on the auction house for some money to spend on mounts, because I didn't have that many, because buying mounts back then was fucking, it took ages, it took a long time, but eventually the guild got into problems. The guy that was running the guild, he was having issues, like personal issues, and he couldn't get on that much, and we couldn't play that much, and considering the fact that he was the one that kind of organized everything, nothing really happened, and people started to leave and form their own guilds, or go to different guilds, and eventually the entire guild just disbanded. And around that time, we had pretty much not done everything, but we had done a lot. Like, some things in that game, like, there were some achievements that you could get, and some things, like, some drops that were just almost impossible, and we kind of got tired of getting them or trying to get them after a while, and just moved on to something else. But, so we didn't get everything. Again, we were never the most amazing guild. We were very much what I like to call a focused casual guild. You know, we're basically just a group of people who will get on like each other and have some fun together. We're not MLG, you know, super frigging pro, let's use the most optimized spec and rotation to go in and wipe like, just wipe all the creatures, or kill all the creatures. I don't know why I keep wanting to say wipe, but kill all the creatures as fast as possible and get to the top rank boards or anything like that. Like, no, we're just a group of people that wants to play the game and have fun. You know, that's what I was looking for. I was looking for a group of people that were serious enough to do raids and actually think about what they're doing, but not serious enough to actually be able to talk while we're playing and have a laugh while we're playing, and not get a bit over the top when we eventually wipe, which we will, because fucking WoW was hard back then. Like, it really goddamn was. But by that time, there was not much for me to do that was interested. I'd never been a PvP guy. I played a little bit of it, but it never really stuck with me. So I kind of stopped playing. I stopped playing for a little bit, and I played other things, and eventually it just went away. I just stopped playing it. My subscription ran out. I never renewed it, and I just stopped playing. And I never went with any, because a lot of people, when they leave WoW, they're like, "Oh shit, I was addicted." Like I can't believe what I was doing. Like I never left WoW in a. Let me just check if this is recording, actually. Yeah, okay. I never left WoW in a kind of negative light. I left WoW like I would any game that I enjoyed. Like, I played the game, I thoroughly loved it, I've basically finished the game now, I'm gonna move on to something else. That's what it was. You know, I never left thinking, like, I never left because of changes, or... I probably would have stayed there if the guild stayed together. But, you know... I just, you know, moved on to something else. And when they announced Catalysm eventually. By this point, I had stopped playing. But they announced Catalysm. And then I'm like, okay. I can play as fucking werewolves. And one of the racials is, again, they've removed that because it's not a thing anymore. But one of the racials was to be able to skin creatures without the use of a skinning knife. Now, you can skin creatures without the use of a skinning knife these days anyway, so they've just changed it so we're gonna have like an extra skill in skinning anyway. But I still kept a skinning knife with me. But yeah, back in the day, you had to have a skinning knife with you, and it was a constant hog on the bag slots. So I was like, okay, one extra bag slot is a good thing. So like yeah, plus I get to play as a freaking werewolf. Holy shit! I'm like, you know, so I thought, okay, my guild is. I've not been in a guild for a long time. You know, let's play again, because by this I was a horde guy. Way back when I started playing, as I said, it was a troll hunter. I did make a Draenei hunter at one point, mainly due to the racial heal, and I played with her quite a bit. Because the racial heal was really useful, especially as a Beastmaster hunter, where you're relying on your beast more than your weapon. You know, your beast is your weapon, your pet is your weapon. So any smart, you know, player or whatever would kill the pet, and then you'd be just as weak as a priest without armor, you know? So having a heal that would keep the pet alive for a little longer was very useful. And I just loved the way the Draenei look anyway. They were... Well, the female Draenei. The male Draenei, the new models look fine, but back in... Oh god, the original male Draenei models were ugly. They were like somebody just got a friggin' orc and squashed it, so its already kind of side-heavy thing was even more so. I still don't really like male Draenei that much, but female Draenei, let's be honest, they're hot. They're probably the hottest race in the game, at least model-wise. I know a lot of people like to say Blood Elves, but oh god, that voice. Oh god, they sound like Valley Girls. But no, give me female Draenei any day. Or a female troll. To a lesser extent. But anyway. But yeah, I was a horde guy. I'm like, okay, I'll come back. I'll play Alliance. I've never really played that much with Alliance. I played a little bit with a Draenei Hunter, but I know I never got that far. So yeah, as I went back to I got a trial. I didn't buy the full thing. I got a trial. I made myself a Night Elf Druid. Because whilst in the span of playing, I had pretty much tried every single class except Priest, because Priest just sounded so boring to me. So I tried pretty much every class, and I got each of them up to level 20, and the majority of them I didn't really care that much for. Like, none of them were the hunter. And even now, when playing over classes, the game feels like it's missing something when I don't have my animal companion follow me everywhere. Like, even now, I've not got one of my pets out, but I've got this little raccoon thing following me around that I've named Socks the Second. Anyone that played Pandaria kind of knows what that's a reference to. But,
I'm still recharging.
At least if you're Lions. I don't think it'd be the same for the Horde. But yeah. I played the trial, running around Donnersis, you know, and then the other area Landon, and there was this. It's changed now. I think they removed it with Cataclysm. But back in the day, there was a quest for the elves where there was a burr, like a big mother den, a mother burr in a cave, and you had to kill it. Now, back in the day, this was actually difficult because, again, WoW, back in the day, even for the Almighty Hunters, the solo classes they're called, was difficult. So I actually remember going up there and with my Draenei and trying to kill it, and failing, and then waiting for other people to join up with me and then do it that way together. Which, honestly, I think was what they wanted. I think they made it purposely difficult so people would be forced to group up, and then they changed the mind thing. Actually, a large portion of the player base just want to play the game. They don't want to be looking for group at all times, which I agree. So I'm not one of these people that's like, oh, the game's less social. Like, me saying this, I have been stuck in my garrison all this time, so it's right, the game's less social, but since coming back, I'm enjoying it more than I ever have. So, but I'll get to that in a minute. But then I was playing it, and I'm like, I mean, this is just Catalysm. The game couldn't have changed that much. Like, this was before Catalysm even came out. This was maybe about a month or a week before Catalysm was officially released. And the game had changed a lot. Like, for one, druids got their travel form at a much earlier level. I think it was 16, 17, 18? Something like that. Or like, when I unlocked it, I was like, holy fucking shit! Really? The hell? I mean, cool, but what? Oh, Lunar Full Car. Cool. I'll show you what that does in a moment. But yeah, I'm like I was like, I'm taking on the burr, and I kill it really fucking easily. And I think to myself, travel form at a really lower level, killing this creature that previously gave me a tough time, or a bit of a challenge enough to kill me, so I needed to group off. Killed it, no problem. And then I played a little bit more of it. I was like, they've really casualized this. Like, this is kind of boring. They've made this game so goddamn easy, it's kind of boring. And I stopped. I just, like, as cool as the werewolves are, and as cool as the goblin ability sounds to have, like, a friggin' bank follow them wherever they go, the game's too easy for me. I'm not having fun. There's not that spark there anymore for me. So, you know what? Something tells me this is for a different audience than when I started playing, which is fine. I stopped playing anyway, so I won't go back to it. Didn't go back to it. Cataclysm out. Remember hearing a bunch of people piss and moan about how shit it was. Thought to myself, okay, I'm kind of glad I didn't go back to WoW. It looks like I stopped playing when WoW was in its golden age, was when it's in its peak, and now it's gone downhill. Like, a lot of things, like, you'll admit, a lot of things that have been running for ages just get shit. I think the only exception to that I can think of is South Park. Like, if it's going for that long, it just becomes shit. So I'm like, okay, maybe that's happened to WoW. And then they announced, Mr. Pandaria. And I remember watching the trailer thinking, this is the coolest but stupidest shit I have ever seen. Holy shit, Blizzard, you are amazing. Wasn't enough to make me play, but I'm like, you know what? That is a really cool fucking trailer. I haven't seen a trailer that awesome since Wrath of the Lich King. That was a really cool trailer. I've watched that trailer so many times, even today. It's probably, after Wrath of the Lich King, it's probably my favorite expansion trailer for World of Warcraft. Like, Mr. Pandaria, oh, it's so cool. This hulking orc, and oh, I didn't mean to do that. This hulking orc and this human are like, what the fuck does this furry birthing kicking her ass and has a cocky expression? It's so cool. I love it. And then I heard nothing from WoW. Now, last year, 2014, they did release this, Warlords of Draenor. Didn't know anything about it. Didn't care. Didn't. Like, my opinion. My opinion on WoW had never changed. It had always been, this was a game that I fucking adored back in the day, but have moved on since then. And for years, I didn't go back to it. Like, I didn't care. And then this year, 2013, I was having a really hard time sleeping. For those of you who don't know, I have sleeping issues. I need to keep to a very strict schedule of doing things. Believe it or not. Otherwise, I mean, that's what's basically worked for me after some counseling. Keeping to a very strict schedule, and if I go off that for more than a day, I just can't sleep. Got too much energy, I can't sleep. So I just couldn't sleep one night. I just could not sleep. I was shattered. I was really goddamn tired, but I just couldn't sleep. And I started lying there, thinking of things, you know, trying to doze off. And for some reason, I hadn't thought about World of Warcraft for a long time. I just didn't care about World of Warcraft anymore. It was not really something I never thought about it. But for some strange reason, I started thinking about it. And I started thinking about the kind of things I've told you guys today. About, you know, my old guild mates, doing Wrath of the Lich King, taking down Illidan. Those really cool old dungeons, like the Elder ones, or the old ones, or whatever, the ancient ones, whatever the fuck they're called. And just having a laugh with the guild, and just how much fun I had. My very first character, Swift Tusk, or was it Swift Fang? It was one of those. And Shadow Fang, doing dungeons together. I was just, and I'm going with this character all the way up to level 50, where I just didn't know what else to do. So I just ended up doing dungeons all the time and raids non-stop once I hit level 50. And how long it took me to save up for my first mount, and then when I got that glorious pink raptor, and I brought I brought it out, and I was like, holy crap, I love Shadow Fang, you've got a big brother! This big pink raptor. Everyone will fear me, for I am riding a giant pink raptor. And I was so pleased with myself when I finally got that very first mount at, I think, level 45. Because it took me so long to save up the gold. And then I thought to myself, you know what? I want to give WoW another try. So in the middle of the night, I got up, I went on this computer, I typed in World of Warcraft, and I looked how much it was. $9.99. £10. And that's not just for World of Warcraft. That was for the Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King, and the 2 expansions I'd never played before. Cataclysm and Mist of Pandaria. And that aside was an expansion pack I've never heard of before, Warlords of Draenor. So for £10, a month of game time included, all the goddamn expansions except what looks like to be the newest one, I'm getting this. So I bought it. And I played and played and played and played and played, and I noticed I noticed so many changes right away. First of all, this was never like this. It used to be a talent tree that every MMO after copied. It used to be a talent tree, Beast Mastery, Marksmanship, Survival, and you put points into some, and you put points into others, and you build your own class. Now it's just a set thing of which ones you want to be: Marksmanship, Survival, Beast Mastery. Obviously I chose Beast Mastery because that's what I always chose, because I wanted a giant Tyrannosaurus Rex at some point. Incidentally, that's one of my favorite areas in the game, just because it's so goddamn different. Like a giant Tyrannosaurus Rexes and dinosaurs just wandering around because of reasons. Like this, I noticed that right away. Like, holy shit. Glyphs, I don't remember these things ever existing when I played. These used to be, like, some of these are completely new. Like, I don't remember Stampede ever being a thing. You know, and of course my snake trap thing that I always loved is now under survival. That's a survival skill now. It's not they've swept thing around. And also, to my shock, my favorite hunter talent that was completely useless, but Eyes of the Beast, where you could basically play as just run around as your pet for a while, which again I loved doing. I loved going back. I loved going to like one of the troll starting areas and just running around as my raptor, just because it worked. Because I'm stupid like that, and I like doing things like that when I get a bit bored of doing like serious business. I want to screw around. So I was disappointed that they removed like Eyes of the Beast. They really should make it a toy or a glyph or something, because most of these, like for example, Glyph of Fetch teaches you the ability to fetch, command your pet to retrieve, things like that. What else is there? There's another one like that as well. That's more useful. Like, most of these are useful, but some of them, like a lot of them are completely silly, like that one. There's a few for the druids as well that are very silly. Like Glyph of Flap, I think it's called, where if you're a moonkin, you flap your wings, which is the stupidest thing. I love seeing people with that glyph. But yeah, a lot had changed. I noticed so many changes. simplifications even. But you know what? I was having a blast. I was running through the game. I was leveling up really quickly, like faster than ever, and then I realized that's because there's a whole, like, I don't remember there being this many goddamn quests. And not only that, is I don't remember quests being this damn cool. Like, again, this is not Worgen. This is coming back. I'm obviously human, but I'm this Worgen guy. And I'm running around doing all these quests, and you know, I'm on a horse the next minute throwing bombs at freaking werewolves. You know, and and then I'm on a torrent shooting the bastards. And then these cutscenes pop in of werewolves, Worgen, whatever, jumping through, like, the windows of a chapel, and oh yeah, that got me back into the game. You know, and then I end up in Dionysus. I'm like, what the fuck happened here? I noticed it was different right away, like, what the fuck happened here? And I was like, oh yeah, Cataclysm. It changed a lot of the landscapes, didn't it? Because I used to love Dionysus, but honestly, Cataclysm, I love it and I hate it at the same time. I love it because it's made leveling so much better. Like, since playing this character, I've unlocked a crap ton of heirlooms. Like, most of the heirlooms I have now. You know, and I've been leveling characters so quickly. And it's just cool just to experiment with the changes they made to other characters. Like, warriors I never used to like. I used to find warriors to be really goddamn boring. I made a Fury warrior recently, and I am fucking loving it. That's a Ginger Snaps. That's a character called Ginger Snaps. You know, and I've got a troll druid, level 1 garrison. I've not long got to Draenor, called Razael. And druid, like feral druid, so cool. They've made a lot of changes, and ultimately what they've done is they've made the leveling spirit, the bulk of World of Warcraft, regardless of what people say, the bulk of World of Warcraft is leveling. Especially now since we have 100 friggin' levels. You know, the bulk of World of Warcraft is doing quests, leveling up, and experiencing the stories of the various areas. That is World of Warcraft. The endgame content is what you do to improve your character to get ready for the next expansion. That is fun. I love raids. I adore raids and dungeons. That's one thing Blizzard has pretty much hardly ever got wrong. Incidentally, I understand Dragon Soul now, why people hated the friggin' Deathwing fight. Like, holy shit. I can't believe they did that. But yeah, the bulk of World of Warcraft is leveling up. That is what you're going to spend the majority of your time doing. And once you get through that, then you're, like, as you're going through that, you're going to do some of the, like, the really cool things in WoW. You're going to see the amazing cutscenes, you're going to get through some really cool story aspects of the game. You're going to go through some amazing and so fun and just epic dungeons and raids, but the bulk of the game is leveling. So the fact that they've made leveling more fun and easier at the same time, love it. Big thumbs up for me. And that was Cataclysm. From what I can tell, the Cataclysm changes have been, let's make leveling fun. Let's make leveling easier for people who have like 3 or 4 characters and they want to experiment with another class. You know, let's make people go through this game again, experience the changes we've made. And I love it. Like, I got up to level 50 with this character, which is funny because that's the level I got up to with my main character when I got stuck and didn't know what else to do, and then just did dungeons and ended up in a guild. But I got up to level 50 with this character, and when I got to that, I thought, I never really liked Outland. I'm gonna go into Outland soon. Well, I never hated Outland, but it was never a thing that grabbed me. I'm gonna buy Draenor. I bought Draenor. It came with a level 90 character boost. I used it on this character. I did Draenor. I thoroughly loved every second of the leveling experience. the fucking Apexis grind and the content afterwards is fucking awful. Like, I mean, these freaking tomes of... Fuck you with the tomes of chaos. Yes, get 33 tomes of chaoses in 2 raids that you can only do once a week. Fuck you! I want my ring. But yeah, but leveling up, so good, like so good. And after that, I went to Norvrend, and I went through Nostalgia Lane again, going through all this, you know, completing the areas, getting the achievement for doing like a shit ton of quests and things like that. And I've done the entirety of Kalimdor as well, because that's where I started off. I've not really touched Eastern Kingdoms though. I've gone in a little bit as I'm flying. But now, today, I've jumped over to Pandaria, and I've been doing Pandaria. And holy fucking shit, this area is beautiful. Like you've probably heard the music throughout this entire video, and that's because that is one of the music you can get this music box in your garrison that plays music, and I've got the Way of the Monk theme playing because I love it. It's action-packed, but it's also calming, and it's great to fish to, and just hang around in your garrison to. I've only done this area. Sorry. I've only done this area. I've not really been in any other area. I have been up here, and that's because I went to do... a guild wanted my help. Sorry, my guild, because I'm in a guild now, my guild wanted my help. So I flew over to Pandaria and helped them with this dungeon. But beyond that, this is my first experience in Pandaria. And I'm fucking loving it. I am absolutely loving Pandaria. The music is amazing. The environments are so fresh and different. Especially after coming out of Draenor. Draenor is this very dull and, like, dark and action... Dull in a good way, like, lower hue, you know? And dark and action-packed and super serial. And then I go to Pandaria. And... it's kind of like I met Lawwalker Chow, and I think his name's Chow, and I was walking around with him, and he was teaching me, he was telling me to basically relax, you know, not everything has to be about war. And doing that directly after Draenor and after freaking Norvrend, for me at least, it's because it's not that way at all for other people, but for me, like going from Draenor to Norvrend and now to Pandaria. Dark, slightly less so because it's got more more brighter environments than Draenor, and then to Pandaria, this lush, bright environment with amazing music, and then they meet this Pandar, and he's like, I want you to like fix this art piece. So of course I chose abstract because I'm a douche like that, and then I'm pruning his tree for him, and he's like, do you want to feed my cranes? I'm like, yeah, I want to feed your cranes! So I walk over, and I'm role-playing with this NPC. Like, there's a guy actually sat back on this water strider mount, and he's watching me. Like, he's just sat there looking at me as I'm doing this, watching me. And I'm walking around, like, literally walking, I've got, like, the walk thing. I'm walking around with this character, and I'm speaking to him, and it's like, do you want me to feed the birds? Like, yeah, can I feed my pet carry? So I summon out my undead eagle carrion, carry, although basically because carrion. But I summon my undead eagle carry, and I'm pretending that I'm feeding carry some of the seeds as I'm feeding the cranes, and that's when I decided to teleport back to my garrison, do some fishing, and do this video. That's all I've done so far. And just. I'm loving it. I'm loving it so much. You know, and I've heard that later on I'll get my own garden. So I'll be able to mess around in my own garden. Like this Zen garden. In a beautiful area of Pandaria. I can't wait for that. That's going to be great. I'm assuming it's a daily thing, but a freaking garden. It's going to be much better than the fucking Apexis dailies. Like, oh my god. Like, if I can take care of the garden each day, I'd be up for that.
I can't cast that yet.
That sounds awesome. But I'm absolutely loving... I haven't touched Outland yet. I'm going to save that for last. Because, again, I never really liked Outland that much. I've been in there purely to do the pet battle stuff, which, incidentally, I got up to level 20 before I even realised that was a thing. And I had to look up on the internet how what the fuck you're supposed to do that. And I ran around doing all, and I started collecting pets. And right now, since starting playing again, I have 250 pets, 241 unique pets. So yeah. I've been playing this game a lot, and they basically, what's one of my favorite things in the world? Like, what's one of my favorite franchises? Pokemon. Okay, Blizzard, we're gonna add Pokemon to World of Warcraft. They're gonna add Pokemon to World of Warcraft. Oh my god, I love you so much. And that's what it is, and I fucking love pet battling. Oh, like, oh my god. I mean, Christ, I love pet battling so much that I spent, because I didn't want to make another Horde I didn't want to make another character in the Horde at the time. I spent 7,000 fucking gold, which, as far as I'm concerned, considering all the work and time it takes to get it, just so I could get this little wolf pup here. And this is a Horde creature. You can only get it from the Frostwolf clan. I think you need to be exiled with them, or exalted with them, and you can only get it from that. And I loved it so much that I spent 7,000 fucking gold on the auction house for this little guy. And I also bought the cuddly toy from Blizzard's store. You know? You know, and I recently fished this thing up whilst doing a daily in Northrend. This giant fucking rat, which is amazing considering the fact that I can now use... Where did I put it? One of these things on it to make it fucking ginormous! Look at that thing! Just look at it! Gonna help me fish? I've named him Bandit. I actually want a pet rat. If I ever get a pet rat, I'm gonna name it Bandit. I mean, look at that thing, it's huge! It's bigger than me! I'd love to be a gnome. Like, the gnome's gonna be about this size. Like, it's the size of this freaking bucket. Amazing. And, honestly, with pet battles, with the garrison, with heirlooms, and with the leveling experience being increased so much, I have fallen in love with this game all over again. I'm not in guilds has changed. Guilds are not like they used to be. That is the only negative I really have to say about World of Warcraft as a whole now. Guilds are not like they used to be. They used to be a place that you'd be invited to by people, or you get in yourself and you do dungeons with them, maybe a bit of PvP, you'd run around, quest together, you'd hang around in taverns and chat in game and just have fun. You know, just be social. These days, it's basically a thing people join so that they can gain rep with it and buy things from the guild vendor. And then maybe ask a question now and again. Like, guilds... I mean, look at my thing. This is like the 4th guild I've joined, trying to find a dungeon guild, and none of them do dungeons. None of them have anything set whatsoever. You know, and they barely talk. There's nobody talks, and if they do, it's asking a question. I know you can't see that because my picture's behind it, but it's people join a guild just for the bonuses. And yeah, having the bonus that makes my Hearthstone recharge faster and makes mounts faster is nice. But that's not why I joined a guild. So that's my only negative about World of Warcraft as a whole now. It's like I have plenty of negatives about the endgame of Warlords of Draenor. But overall, my experience with this game right now is so good that I don't really care that much. Like, doing Northrend again, experiencing Icecrown Citadel, oh my god, I love that raid. Being OP is balls because I'm level 100. But doing it for the story, and to experience things I've never experienced before. You know, just doing Northrend again, just loving it, and going into Pandaria, and I love that area so far. I love Pandaria so far. I've barely touched it, but I love it so far. I love pet battles. The heirlooms are a great addition, a brilliant idea. You know, it means I can level up characters without it being a grind. Like, fuck, my werewolf warrior that I made like 2 days ago, Ginger Snaps, I got her to Darnassus, and then I traveled to Stormwind, and I've got up to level 20-something by doing nothing but dungeons in LFD, looking for dungeon. And I love it. I love it so much. Just experimenting with different classes, and just leveling up really quickly thanks to heirlooms, and I love it so much. And just the world in this game, the atmosphere, the humor, the graphic style. They've improved the models. The models are much better than they've ever been. But it still retains its World of Warcraft cartoony and charming style. It is the game I remember, but improved. And I know that is something a lot of people who have been playing since vanilla don't want to hear. A lot of people have been playing non-stop since vanilla, hate this game, but they still keep playing, they just hate the changes. I think taking a break from this game is one of the best choices I've ever made in terms of, you know, leisure choices. Because it means I've come back to this with so much new content for me, so many improvements in my opinion, and I've not had to sit through all the little changes. I've seen essentially the finished product in a way. You know, coming back after a year of Warlords of Draenor, buying the expansion myself and experiencing all this new content. I fucking love this game. Since I stopped playing World of Warcraft, I have tried to find another MMO that would suck me into its world and just get me completely involved and immersed. I have not found one until I came back to World of Warcraft, and I thoroughly love it. I love it all over again. And I can see myself playing this for another few years. You know, I'm looking forward to the next expansion. You know, I've heard rumors that it's going to be that underwater one that people have been like spreading rumors about for a while. Like, Blizzard, if you're watching this, I don't really care that much about playing as a Naga, but I'd love to play as either a Jinyu or a Murloc. And if not, can you please make it so I can have a Murloc pet and not need to go to BlizzCon? I would love to go to BlizzCon, but I just can't afford it. So please, can I have a Murloc pet? You know, even if I need to grind fucking ages into Darkmoon Fur or something like that to get it. But, yeah. I wish I had that, like, Murloc Knight pet. That's probably my... If I had that, that'd be my favourite pet. It wouldn't be my wolf here, or my Bandarian mechanical dragon, or my giant rat. It'd be that, It'd be that, like, Murloc in a knight in a suit of, armour. It's such a cool pet. I wish I had that. But yeah, this video has been going on for a long time, and that is my World of Warcraft story. I've fallen in love with this game all again, and I am not apologizing for it. This World of Warcraft it's not perfect. God, it's not perfect. Just coming back, I've noticed that. You know, the Tanan jungle is awful. I'm just going to say that right now. It's pretty, it's fun to explore, but there are no quests. There are dailies, but not cool dailies. Because dailies can be cool, like the Darkmoon Fur dailies are cool. I like Darkmoon Fur. But these dailies, not so much. Just go around here and kill a few things. Alright, so, before I go, I caught myself a special fish. Where is it? Here it is, the Lunaful Carp. Alright, so, watch this. Actually, let's summon Carry out that I mentioned before. Alright. And, boop! Where is it? Oh, it's there! Kill it! Alright, hopefully I get something good. This is the first one I've caught. I've heard about them, but this is the first one I've caught. I mean, I've been fishing for all that time. I've only caught one of these, so obviously they're pretty rare. Alright, let's see what I've got. I have got worms, which are useful. Potion. A fishing rod. Duration 1 day. Wow, that's a cool fishing rod. I'd love to keep it, but too bad it only lasts for a day. Can I sell that at all? Soulbound. I can sell it. I might as well sell it because I'm not going to use it. I'd love to sell it on the auction house, but it's Soulbound. The worms I'll keep. I'll end up using them, definitely. But yeah. My World of Warcraft story. So, I don't know. Maybe Blizzard will see this and give me a big high five in game or something. Like, that was beautiful, Fallon. Incidentally, I'm Fallon Hot on Lightbringer. Send me something cool, Blizzard. I'm promoting your game here. No, but really, I love this game. I really do. I love playing as a hunter. I love collecting pets. I love my bike that I paid a shit ton of gold for, and now I'm completely broke. I love my garrison. I love Northrend. I love Heirlooms. I love so many of the changes. World of Warcraft is once again one of my top 10 games of all time. This has been Furion for Banjo H, giving you... Oh god, I said Furion for Banjo H. God, that'd be a while. This has been Fallon Hot! That's because I've been getting so goddamn nostalgic. This has been Fallon Hot, giving you your much-needed gamegasm. See you later. Dandelion and Burdock. Good stuff.